Alright, so this tutorial is for the digital painting of your objects and such. Okay, so basically what you need to do is obviously first bring in your model. Okay, now what you may notice, so once you bring that in, what you're going to do is you're going to paint it. Okay, so first thing you might want to do is actually just apply the various materials to each one of these pieces. So like there's like a generic wood material right here that I think will probably work for this stuff. Okay, so you may want to use different materials because some of them have different properties, like chrome if you want shininess, or this chrome, and then paint on top of those. In this case, I'm just gonna go ahead and just show you real quick how to do that. So my model is made up of a bunch of subtools, all right, such as they are. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go to each. I'm going to make sure the paintbrush is on this one as well. So I'm going to go to each one. So I'm going to select this one. All right. And then I'm going to go to material. And I'm going to choose wood. Now it's going to make everything look wood. But if you look, it didn't actually apply that. You can see everything is still that red met cap material. So to actually apply it, what I got to do is that we've been using Z add and Z sub because we've been sculpting. We're not going to be sculpting anymore. So just take that off. What we are going to be doing is if you remember, M is material and RGB is color. So I'm just going to go ahead and do an M RGB, so apply both. I'm going to turn that on. And then while I'm in this layer, I'm just going to go to color, and I'm just going to go fill object. And you'll notice that it changed that color. I'm just going to go right down the line. So I'm going to select this one. I'm going to go color, fill object. It changed that one. This one, color, fill object. Right down the line here. Color, fill object. Try to do this fast. Color, fill object. Alright, color, fill object. And color, fill object. Okay, and then what's this piece here? This is, yeah, that one. Color, fill object. And then this is what? Yep. Color, fill object. And what is this? That's the cushion. Okay, so that would be it for that. Now I'm going to go ahead and apply a different material to my back parts here. So I'm just going to go over here, and I think that probably, let's see, toy plastic. I mean, none of these really actually make a ton of sense for what this is. I'm just going to go with the Met Cap White, this one here. I think that makes the most sense. Okay, so Met Cap White. Again, it didn't actually apply it, so I'm just going to go ahead now and do the whole color, fill object. Which you can see it didn't work, and the reason why is that if you go down here, I have layers, and it's not real happy with my layer. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and click Bake All, and that's basically going to collapse the layers but maintain everything that they've had done to them. So now I'm going to try to do that color, fill object. See, now it's not doing it again. All right, well, I'm just going to skip that one for now. Okay, we'll take this one, color, fill object. You can see it turn white. Color, fill object. Alright. Okay, so we'll start at the top here. Alright. It's funny because it shows up right here. Alright, so anyway, now I want to start painting on this. So I'm just going to do one chunk and then you can kind of figure it out from there. So just as a reminder though, when first things first, I'm just going to go to like something I know that doesn't have a ton of material polys in it. So this one here, this back piece, if you actually look at when it's highlighted, you can see it's very angular. That's actually representing this piece here. So it's not subdivided. If I hit Shift F, oh, you can't really tell, but there's not a lot of polys on this. Okay, so if I actually try to paint this, let's say with a red color or something, lower this a little bit, and okay. You're going to notice is see how there's only so many polys for it to paint, so there's not enough for it to color it, okay? So you have to make sure that your stuff is subdivided enough. I just wanted to show you on that one because that one's pretty obvious. So if you were to look at, let's say, this one here, all right, if I were to paint on this, it looks fine like that, but if I were to zoom in and try to use a smaller brush, you can see all the polys in here. Like if I shift F, you can see kind of what they're looking like. I don't know if you can see it or not, but you'll see it starts to get sort of almost pixelated because there's only so many polys to support it. So, Control Z, okay. So what you're going to want to do is subdivide this enough so that there's enough to paint with. So to do that, I'm just going to go down to geometry, and you can see it's already got 6 levels. I'm going to divide again, and that should hopefully be high enough division. But if you notice that your picture looks blurry or what you're painting looks blurry, then you're going to need to kind of adjust that. Usually the first thing that I'll do is when I do like the fill color, I'll just choose the color I want here. So for instance, you know, if you did like, am I still on the right layer here? Yeah, if I did this color, let's say I wanted red and I did color fill object, it would make it all red. So if that's the color I want to kind of start with, I would start with that color. I'm going to start with white just to make things a little bit easier. Color fill object. Okay. I think the reason, oh no, I did that earlier. Okay, so anyway, you're going to want to do that. All right. So, good. So I would fill the color generally what you wanted, but then after that, usually what I do is I try to take a texture of some sort. So I will use the spotlight tool. So if you just go to, where are you? Texture, there it is, texture. And just go to import a texture that you want to apply. So I'm gonna go import. And then I have like a bunch of images, and I grab some patterns, and I'll grab this blue one here. All right. Oops. Okay. So then I'll go back in here. I'll click on the blue one. All right. So that's the selected texture. You can see it on the left there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit add to spotlight. And that's automatically going to pop spotlight right up. Okay. I'm going to turn this light box back off. Now, if I go and grab anywhere, it's just going to move this right now. It's not going to do anything else, which is fine. And you'll see there's a bunch of different options in here. Okay, so first thing I want to do is just scale. So I just click on this and I just drag left or right. I'm just going to scale it down a little bit. All right. And there's other ones too, so you can kind of look at those. I don't really want to get into it. Now to get rid of that, this little circle so I can actually move and stuff again, I just hit Z. All right, that just hides that. If you want to get rid of this altogether, you just hit Shift Z, and Shift Z will bring it back on. Okay, so Z for this, Shift Z to turn it off altogether. All right, so once I do that, then all I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of hold Shift to kind of snap this, and then I'm just going to go ahead and make this a little bit bigger, and I will try to paint. So you can see it's kind of hard to tell what I've been painting, so I'm going to undo that, and I'm going to hit Z to bring up the thing, and there's actually an option here for opacity. So I'm going to take opacity, and I'm going to make it a little more transparent, enough so I can see it, but not so much that, you know, I can't see what I'm doing. So I'll hit Z to bring that back off. And now I can more easily tell what I'm painting. Okay, so I'm just gonna kind of paint this up as best I can. All right, and then I'm just gonna kind of hold and pull this over here and try to match this up as best I can so that it doesn't look too obvious where the seams are. Voila la 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 la. Okay, and I'll just kind of. Let's see. Actually, I could probably go like this. Try to match it up this way. There we go. Okay. Now what's going to happen is, watch what happens when I go over here. I'm just going to go right through it. I'm just going to hit Shift Z to get rid of that. You're going to see it's going to stretch because it drew across this. So you're going to have to kind of rotate as you're going. So just kind of rotate like that. I'm going to hit Shift Z to bring that back up. Yep. Back this thing up too a little bit because I got a little close, and I'm just going to try to start where I was leaving off here, so I'll try to match that up best I can. Not going to be perfect. Depending on what your pattern is, you can get away with quite a bit, but let's see. Shift Z. Okay, good enough. All right, kind of do the same thing on this side. Oops. Let's get this guy back where I want him. There we go. Okay. All right. Shift Z to bring that back up. Gotta zoom in a little bit because I zoomed out a little too far. All right. I'm gonna try and match this up to one of those things. Oops, that's not what I thought I had Alt. Okay. Let's go up a little. Yeah, whatever. I don't care. Then I'm just going to paint this in there. Okay. Yada, 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 yada. And do a good job. Don't do a bad job like I did. Okay, so I paint all those in there. That looks fan-freaking-tastic, and I would do it to the bottom and the rest of them, but I'm going to try and make this video as fast as possible. So from there, if you want to add any other details or use any more of that tool, you just kind of go in there to texture, and you can just import another texture and just plop it in, and so on and so forth. Okay, and there's also a bunch of ones that are already in there. Now, one of the things that's really good to kind of do is to put like a dark color that kind of recedes in there, like a patina. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and use these masking techniques. So if you go to masking, you look down here where it says mask by cavity. And I put the intensity to 100 because I think by default it's like 1 or 0 or something, and it does nothing. So go ahead and mask by cavity, and you'll see it will mask everything that's a cavity, such as it is. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead, and I don't have the option here, but if you have an option to shrink or expand the mask, you might want to shrink or expand it. I don't. But in order to invert this, I'm just going to hold Control, which is mask, and then click, just tap. And then that will be like that. And I'm just going to try and grab like a darker blue, grayish blue here to put inside of that. Okay. Okay. So, and I'm actually going to go ahead and blur that mask once just to help a little. I'm going to take my RGB intensity. That's basically like the opacity of the brush, and bring that down a whole bunch. And I'm going to grab this and go up. It's actually here too. I should have just done it there. And then I'm just going to brush this in. All right, la la la, la la la. Okay. Do a good job. Don't do a bad job like I'm doing. And then I'll just invert the mask. And actually, I'm gonna go ahead and just clear out the mask. So Control, click, and drag. And then I'm gonna go ahead and mask by cavity. I'm gonna lower this a little. No, yeah, we'll keep it up. Mask by cavity. Again, and I'm gonna Control. Actually, I want to keep it like that. I'm gonna go ahead and blur it, and this time I'm gonna blur it a couple times. Blur mask. This time I'm gonna actually kind of go like a whitish grayish to kind of make it a little more pale where the mask isn't. Okay, so second verse, same as the first. So I'm just gonna kind of make sure you don't make it too consistent. You kind of almost want it to be a little haphazard, just because it'll make it a little more realistic. Okay, and then I'm just going to Control, click, and drag, and that will get rid of the mask. And you'll see like there's just a little bit more definition. It's not like crazy amounts, but see how like now you can see it a little bit better than you could before. It just makes it a little bit nicer. Another thing will kind of happen is it'll actually probably be a little bit darker inside these crevices. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just again kind of grab my darkish kind of gray. And I'm going to try to paint, inside of there. I'm just going to switch this to freehand. I'm going to take my alpha, and I'm going to look for one that's got a real kind of nice fade to it. We'll say this one. And I'm just going to, okay. And I'm just going to kind of darken in this crevasse a little bit, okay? Because obviously this is kind of a cavity too, but it wouldn't read that on that object because it's a cavity between two objects. Okay. And then I might kind of go the other way, a little bit white, and maybe kind of put that up here a little bit on the, especially up here because that would get really warm, right? Okay. Yay. And that kind of stuff. All right. So that's basic coloring. Obviously you could just go ahead and hand paint things if you want. But that should be enough to kind of get you started. Try to play around with it as much as you want. That should be good. All right. Good luck.